respectful Nigerian.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for the opportunity not only to stand here but to be invited so that I can hear our side. We're not here to give the details, but just to reassure the Honorable Committee that Nigerians have all had only one side of the argument. We've been bombarded, abused, accused, maligned, but we're not heard. So just like the Honorable Minister said, it is an opportunity for Nigerians to hear from the side of not only Farouk Ahmed, but NMDPRA. So I actually am happy, I'm pleased, and elated that the hearing will be made public and live on TV because we have been unfairly treated. Not only by the Nigerian press, but the very senior Nigerians very high, of high places because of misinformation. Obviously, it's not their fault. It was information that was polluted, misrepresented. Mr. Chairman, I don't want to say too much because I'm really happy to be here. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much for complying.
Mr. Chairman of this ad hoc committee, very distinguished senators, the honorable ministers, my colleagues,
don't worry about
ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Let me just say that from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission that were. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm Benga Komolafe. I'm the Commission Chief Executive of Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. Distinguished senators, let me say that I'm very pleased for the opportunity to be here on behalf of the, that is NUPRC, to be given the privilege for us to participate at this very important committee to give insight into our activities as the Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, at least to be able to inform Nigerians as to our role and, of course, have the opportunity to dispel some of the misinformation like the Honorable Minister has said and my other colleagues that have spoken. Mr. Chairman, I want to say, like some of my colleagues have said, that some of us serve this country, we sleep for less than 3 hours on a daily basis. That we're very patriotic Nigerians and we try to work within the ambit of the law. And that in the course of this investigative committee, we shall duly account for our stewardship as relates to the statutory mandate of the organization, of the committee. And specifically as relates to the focus of this committee, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission has effectively been able to implement the provisions of Section 109 of the PRA, which borders on the specific scope that the committee is looking at. And Mr. Chairman, in the course of the public hearing, we shall be informing Nigerians to the effect that the Nigerian oil sector, of course, which is in the eyes of the storm, and of course the expectation is there that for us to have a quick turnaround, ramp up production so that we can earn more forests, to stabilize the economy. That for me, again, to say that we have received so much support from our dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in terms of incentives that have been given and all the efforts and activities that we have been making as the regulator to increase the national production. And let me say, Mr. Chairman, that the industry, that is the especially the upstream of the Nigerian oil and gas sector, is facing very challenging moment in terms of that is under investment, especially that has been impacted by the energy transition. And of course, the fact that collectively we need to create an enabling environment for investors to invest in the industry. It is a collective responsibility of all of us, the legislator, the executive, that is Nigerians as a whole, for us to create an enabling environment that we attract, make Nigeria a favorable destination for investment so that we can grow production. Of course, we are endowed with huge oil and gas reserves, but without investment, without ensuring that we are intentional as Nigerians to create a favorable environment, investors will not come and will continue to grapple with low production. So in the course of our presentation, we will be able to actually convince Nigerians about our stewardship, about the fact that we are very, very patriotic Nigerians. At least some of us, we are patriotic Nigerians, and we are serving Nigeria with all our ability. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity.
I thank you so much. So, go to the crude oil refinery owner. So, we'll call Dangote Group there.
The chair of this ad hoc committee and the leader of the Senate, Senator Michael Okweyemi Bamidele, the chief whip of the Senate, and all the other senators here present, the Minister of State for Petroleum, Oil, the GCO, NMPC, and all the other heads of parastatals and agencies here present. Good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity to participate in a very important discussion. And we must thank the chairman of this committee for the way he has laid out the conversation. He has painstakingly explained the rationale and the history of where we are in the petroleum industry and why it is necessary to have a conversation including all the stakeholders, the executive, of course the legislature, the major companies and the major agencies involved. And he has also gone through the specific roles. And since this is the first of many interactions and interventions, I will just briefly say that where we are in terms of the petroleum industry, in terms of crude oil production and sales, it's important to say that for the 2024 budget, we had estimated and projected 1.78 million barrels per day. We are below that target at the moment, although production is moving up, I believe, and we have the experts here, but I believe we're at about 1.6 million barrels per day. And we have a commitment that we'll be able to reach 2 million barrels per day, and that is critical. And why it is critical is that that is the first source that we look to for foreign exchange, as well as government revenue. And at a time where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's policies are geared at stabilizing the economy, a critical aspect of that is the inflow of foreign exchange to stabilize the exchange rate, enable the exchange rate even to appreciate, thereby helping to Central Bank and the monetary authorities been in a position to lower interest rates and therefore encourage investment to get the economy going. And as we know, investment is the basis on which we can increase productivity, grow the economy, create jobs, and reduce poverty. So it is critical that NMDC, that the oil sector as a whole performs. And that's why the fiscal environment has been improved. We all know the oil is there. It is the investment environment that encourages private investors to come in, produce the oil, and therefore earn the revenues, especially in this era of moving away from fossil fuels. NMDC has even declared a war on oil production. We know of the issues of insecurity, issues of damage that have limited and made us come below the budget. But there is a commitment to dealing with these issues. And the focus also remains in the oil and gas industry in improving incentives. Already, Mr. President has signed some executive orders which have meant that oil and gas investments, particularly in the gas sector, have started to flow back. We saw a $500 million investment just a couple of weeks ago, and we are told that about $7 billion, there was a $500 billion investment already made, and around $7 billion on the sidelines, waiting for the correct investment environment. The outlook for oil prices for the rest of this year and beyond is positive, is strong. We expect the price of oil to stay relatively high, and so we must seize this opportunity. Amongst other things, we must seize this opportunity to maximize the whole oil and gas sector value chain. And that's why we are here to discuss what it will take to get us really moving and maximizing. And so I welcome this all-important conversation, and I look forward to playing my own part in helping to achieve greater efficiency, greater investment, and greater success in our all-important oil and gas sector, particularly as we are discussing today, the petroleum industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister.